Hello and welcome to Fatal Core TCG, and this game is looking extremely interesting, not only because it is a game that I very much enjoy, because this is exactly what I'm into in my spare time, but also because it has the possibility and potential to shake up trading card games and their entirety. The way that they make money, the way that they generate money is a little bit skewed at the moment. So Fatal Core is actually attempting to do this in a very different way, and there are no microtransactions at all in the game. The game is also completely free. You can play this right now if you want to by visiting the link in the description. I'd highly recommend also adding it to your Steam wishlist if that is something that you're into. This video is kindly sponsored by Catapult, and here's the thing, this is completely crowdfunded. It's all going to be driven by the community for the community. That is a very strong argument, and they have the potential with this game, as I said before, to shake up the entire TCG genre and to make it better for everyone. Because you have a situation where you're playing a TCG, you stop playing for a month, maybe two, and someone else is going to continue playing that game. And then they're going to acquire all the cards, and then they're going to get more powerful than you because you don't have the cards. And that's how it usually goes. So it very much depends on whether you play the game that often or not, and then eventually it's going to become one of those things where you come back and you really want to play the game because it's fun, but you just can't because you don't have access to everything. And that's where this game changes things up dramatically. So you can see here we currently have the game board. Now the game board is very different than a lot of TCGs that I've played, and it's really nice because basically it gives you a whole deep level of strategy, and this is just the surface, really. I'm already saying it's deep, but this is really just the surface. Now, this is played with an open hand system as well, so you can see all of your opponent's cards. So you can see here, I can see my enemy's cards at the moment. This is just the tutorial at the very beginning, and you can play this right now. As I say, you can play this right now. It is in open beta through the link in the description, and they're also open for wishlists on Steam. So you can see here that I have two cards that are hidden from my opponent at the moment, so they obviously can't see that. And turns are taken simultaneously. So if you can predict what your opponent is going to do, then you can make those corrections and you can try to counter them in the best possible way that you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play a round or two or three or four, because I get a little bit carried away with these kinds of games because I enjoy them so much, but let's have a look at what we can do here. So the Callous Mage, in my opinion, is looking like our strongest play right now, because as you can see, each turn, if you control only this creature, you give -1/-1 to all opposing creatures. And if you're successful with doing that, then you gain +1 attack, and you lose a +1 HP. So I'm thinking that's probably going to be a pretty good way to go. Is that actually going to work? Is that actually going to work? Yeah, I think so. Yep, there we go. All right, so this is actually interesting. Okay, yeah. So yeah, yes, of course. Okay, so he gained +1/+1. This is obviously the tutorial, as I've said. And there are 6 different heroes that you can play as well that dramatically change your playstyle. I'm currently playing with a deck or with a leader that provides you with control and combo cards. And that's the kind of playstyle that I quite like. As far as I'm aware, I like the control aspect quite a bit, because anytime you can completely clear an opponent's board, it's just a wonderful feeling to have. Anyway, as you can no doubt tell, he did gain +1/+1 because I placed him on this center tile right here. And there are a number of other places that you can place them, obviously. Usually you don't want to place them on -1/-1 because that's just going to it's going to reduce their stats. But that's the whole reason why this has a strategic element to their placement. You're not just going to place them side by side and they're all going to have the same stats or whatever. No, it's completely different. So he gained +1/+1. That's right, when a creature enters a field, it is instantly modified by the field's bonus. Alright, so the enemy is also going to play, and as you can see, we have now reduced their stats of their minion or of their monster or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Callous Mage automatically activated his each turn ability, giving the Scion -1, -1, which is really good because that means that this does less damage and it has less HP. And next turn, if this does not die for some other reason, then my Callous Mage is going to eliminate this card just by reducing its HP to 0. And I'm very much liking that. So let's see what happens. Can you tell me what happened next? Well, we both took damage. Yes, there we go, yeah. This is obviously a little bit of a quiz as well, just to kind of give you an idea as to what is actually going on in the game, which I very much appreciate too. Anyway, both creatures attack the opposing lead character. As you can see at the top of the screen, we both started with 80 HP, and I dealt 6 damage, and the enemy dealt 4 damage. If you reduce your opponent's life to 0 or have more life after 12 turns have passed, you win. Simple, right? Once per game, you can choose to hide a drawn card from the opponent. I'll leave that decision up to you this time. Alright, so do I want to do that? Hide or show drawn card. Summon a fractal pawn to an empty space on your board. I don't really care about that, so I'm just going to show it. Press the advantage. Callous Mage's each turn ability will only trigger if there is no other creature on your board. And yeah, see, now that's the big deal here. What's more, that puny Scion will surely perish thanks to our Mage's ability. I'm not entirely sure if the tutorial knew that I was going to play the Callous Mage, but I was actually going to play this to begin with anyway because it has such a strong ability to it. But yeah, well, interesting nevertheless. Now's the time to use a spell. Select Tremor from your hand and cast it on your opponent's bottom row. Alright, so this is what you can do here. So you can obviously target a row and deal 3 damage to each creature in that row and 1 damage to every other creature on your opponent's board. So this is where the control aspect of my leader's deck comes in handy. So yeah, we're probably going to do that. Yeah, I mean, this is so powerful. Incendiary Stream is extremely powerful right here. But it does require you to be played on turn 4 or more. Before you can do that. So we're going to play Tremor, and we're just going to play it there, because here's the thing. Obviously, if you think about this, it does 3 damage to each creature in the bottom row, and then it will do 1 damage to every other creature on your opponent's board, which is obviously the top row. So that's really, really powerful for board control, but it also will eliminate this Scion right away. So let's just go and attack. Oh, never mind. It seems like she... look at that. Fantastic. Look at that. There's another minion that's coming out there, which is great, because that means that I now deal 3 damage to that one that has just come out. And as you can see, all the stat changes are actually really interesting as well, in my opinion. Because did you see what actually happened there? She came out, she had 1 attack, or 1 power, in the case of Fatal Core, they call it power in this game. And so she had 1 power, and then we reduced it to 0, and then she gained 2 again from some other thing, and she's also started with 11 HP, but now she only has 5. It's crazy. It's crazy how much can happen in the space of 1 turn. Anyway, spells resolve right after creatures come into play. Not only did Tremor finish off Flame-wrought Scion, but it damaged the newly played Lapis Diva as well. That Scion made such a lovely corpse. Corpses appear when most creatures die from taking damage, or are killed by a spell effect. On the other hand, creatures which are erased vanish without a trace. A normal creature can't be played on top of a corpse. It's important to be able to clear corpses from your board, otherwise you'll get locked out. Ooh, now that's interesting as well. That's extremely interesting. Very, very tactical too, because if you can cause a huge amount of corpses on your opponent's board, and they don't have a way to clear them, well, good luck. They're going to have a very hard time. Alright, so here we go. So now we can either choose to show or hide this card. What does Mana Magnet mean? What is that? What is that right now? I can't actually tell what that is, so I guess I'm just going to show it. Your opponent has drawn a Paradox Bomb. There's no doubt in my mind they're going after Callous Mage. Oh, so it's going... Yes, oh, that's actually very, very true. That seems like a complete removal spell. It's time you learned about my speciality, Mana Magnet. Play a Shrine Servant in the bottom middle field on your board. Okay, so I can assume that what Mana Magnet is going to do, as you can see from the description here, it is going to attract the spell. So it's going to misdirect the spell over to the Shrine Servant instead of to the Callous Mage. So we can keep our strongest minion alive, and we can then go for... we can then stop Paradox Bomb from attacking. So you can see here, erase target creature on your opponent's board, field change, each turn erase this creature. Okay, yeah, so that's absolutely fine. So let's do that. Let's play her. Shrine Servant has Mana Magnet, which means she will absorb the opponent's next spell. Of course, she won't survive. Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right? Yes. Now watch. Here we go. There's Paradox Bomb, and it's going on her instead of going on him, which is fantastic. And now what's really cool about that too is that we don't have another minion on the board. So Callous Mage still activates his ability, and he's going to continue then reducing the stats of Lapis Diva as well as gaining stats himself, which is amazing. Now bear in mind obviously that every single time he's successful in doing this, he is losing 1 HP, which of course is going to eventually result in his demise. But if we can, well, remove Lapis Diva from the board before he loses all of his HP, then he's not going to use his ability any further, and he's just going to be a super powered up powerhouse of damage, and we really, really want that. Alright, that was brutal. Our poor Shrine Servant was erased from existence. With Mana Magnet, there's no corpse to clean up. Her sacrifice won't be in vain. Who am I kidding? This is a tutorial match. Her sacrifice was totally in vain. There we go, and we are victorious about that, at least. So let's see what else we can do here. So do we want to do anything else, actually? Is there anything else that I really want to do? Well, technically, I could just continue to play things, because if I summon something else... What is a Knight of Misfortune? Targets a random empty space on the effect controller's board unless otherwise stated. Mana Blaze. Deal 15 damage to your opponent. Give each spell in your opponent's hand slow 8? What? This is a unique card, by the way. This is an S tier card. You can only have a certain amount of S tier cards and A tier cards and so on in your deck at any one time. So you can tell in the top right corner of the card itself which card is going to be super powerful and which one may not, and which one is going to be a little bit more common to use and so on. So I'm actually thinking we're going to do that. Oh, we won. I really wanted to play that. That would have been so much fun. Oh well, never mind. We won that so completely. You now know the basics of Fatal Core. Not bad. Let's take a look at some of the cards you were using. Alright, so you can see here that this is exactly the card name and rank, and you have the HP there and the lead affiliation. So obviously, dependent on your leader, you're going to have unique cards to that particular leader. But you're also going to have neutral cards, which anyone can use, as far as I'm aware, if it follows a regular TCG way of doing things. And so you have power there, and obviously you have the middle text and so on and so forth. Creature's name and rank are displayed, and so on and so forth. We know about all of this. And Callous Mage is neutral, so he can be used in any deck. Cards say that Prisoner to 18, on the other hand, are mine. Keep your grubby hands off them unless you're playing a deck where I'm the lead. There's the Tremor spell you used earlier. Yeah, so that's also a neutral card. Do you see what makes spells different from creatures? Well, power and HP, of course. There we go. Spells are a powerful one-time effect, whereas a creature will stay on your board until it dies. Don't forget that creatures attack your opponent directly, depleting their life total. Play powerful creatures, keep them alive, and keep your opponent from doing the same. Those are the basic rules of combat. That concludes our first lesson. I want to fight an AI opponent. I suppose I do. Do I? Do I really? Yes, I suppose I should. Okay, so this is the character that I'm playing right now, Hush. And I think he's really cool. I like him a great deal. I think he's really fun to play. At least I think I was playing as that. I might have been playing as Maldiva, actually, because maybe they didn't allow me to play that right now, so we'll see. Okay, so we're going to play as Hush this time. Oh, we're playing... okay, so we're playing against Hush as well. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So, let's have a look here. I have to choose 2 cards to hide from the opponent. Each turn render a random opposing creature with 4 HP or less soulless. I have no idea what the soulless thing does, but that's going to be interesting nevertheless to find out. Deal 7 damage to opposing player. I'd like to hide the A tier cards, I suppose. Let's hide the A tier cards mostly, and then we'll go. There we go. Because oh, okay, this guy's got this now. Deal 3 damage to target opposing creature. Success, deal 1 damage to all opposing creatures for each corpse you control. So obviously, corpses for Hush are very, very important by the looks of things. As you can see, we also have a bit of a timer at the top here. Alright, so let's have a look. Must be played on top of a corpse. Deal 2 damage to all opposing creatures. Deal 7 damage. Erase all corpses on your board. Gain +1 power for each corpse erased. Okay, so we're probably going to have to play Phantom Drive here. And we're going to force redraw. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just target his hidden cards because he might very well have something really, really good under there. So we're just going to target his hidden card. Oh dear. Starving Devil he's put out here. Okay, that might be a little problematic. Let's see what happens. Okay, so he only has a very small amount of HP. Oh, look at that. End of turn. Take 5 self-inflicted damage. So him actually having that is really, really good. Because that means that he's going to kill himself much faster. And if I can add to that damage just a little bit, then that's going to make a big difference. Okay, so I'm going to just show this. I don't really care whether he knows about Grim Harvest or not. We have 2 corpses here already as well, so that's really, really nice. So what I can do is I could basically play Crypt Naga. Each turn, give random opposing creature -1 HP. Success is give Crypt Naga -1 HP. Okay, yeah, well, that's absolutely fine. Let's just play it there then. And that's pretty much all I can do right now. You can only play 1 card per turn, so let's do that. And erase all corpses on your opponent's board. Deal 4 damage to your opponent. Yeah, that's absolutely fine because I already took 1 out. And we're going to try and eliminate this thing. Obviously, it's doing 5 damage. Do bear that in mind. It's going to be doing 5 damage. Self-inflicted. So technically, we're doing exactly the same amount of damage to him that he's doing to us, and we have double his HP. So we should theoretically, if nothing else changes, win the game just purely on HP values. But obviously we don't want to do that. We want to stomp him. We want to stomp him so badly into the ground. Anyway, we have Mana Magnet here. I'm thinking we probably want to do something about that, but I'm actually going to do... something a little... Should I actually do that? I might want to do that just in general. Deal 2 damage to all opposing creatures. Force redraw. That might actually be super nice, but we could play something else here, like for example this. Render a random opposing creature with 4 HP or less soulless. What does soulless do? Unable to activate abilities. On death, does not leave a corpse. When a creature becomes soulless, it is returned to base stats. Its stats can only be changed by damage. We don't want to do that, actually. We really don't want to do that, because the Starving Devil is actually helping us right now, so we really don't want to do that at all. What about this, though? Underworld Assassin. Must be played on top of a corpse. Each turn, kill a random opposing creature with 3 HP or less. Wow, that's actually kind of amazing. I want to play that. There we go. Let's do that. Oh, okay. Hello there. Okay, there's 2 of those. He's actually killing himself so dramatically. I have no idea what he's even doing, but he is actually attacking us for 16 damage now, but he is doing 10 damage to himself. He's going to be playing... Oh, this is mine, actually. So I'm going to hide this because I think I would like to use this to deal damage to one of them at the very least, because... should I even bother, actually? I mean, I might as well just play the Shrine Servant at this point. Let's just play the Shrine Servant in the middle, and I think that's all we really need to do, actually. I think that is indeed a victory for us, because here's what's going to happen. Yep, I knew he was going to use that, you see. I knew he was going to use that, and he was going to try and take us out, but here's the thing. We're going to do damage to him, he's going to do self-inflicted damage to himself, and then he's dead. And there you go. Nice. Okay, so we actually won. Obviously, it's AI, and we were playing against an easy difficulty AI, but you can kind of see what's going on with the game and everything. And if you want to play it yourself, there is a link in the description to play the open beta, and I'd highly recommend, if you are interested at all about this game, then please do wishlist it on Steam. This is a very, very cool opportunity for the TCG community, because we are going to be able to have a card game with no purchases whatsoever. And I'm talking about cards, cosmetics, everything. Everything is going to be earned by the player by playing the game, and that is it. That's pretty amazing, right? In my opinion, that's really, really amazing, because I've played TCGs in the past where I have absolutely loved the game, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, you want me to buy this? Well, I don't mind, because I'm happy to support the developers, but it does create that culture of slightly buying power, and I don't like doing that, you know? I don't like doing that. So this is a really, really fresh breath of fresh air, should we say. And yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out. There are links in the description. Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.